coming. So we did, and a couple other families are coming. They said they were coming. So we just gonna have to squeeze them in somehow. These workshops are really meant for 6 to 12 couples. So this room is kind of cozy for that. And I think we're going to be reaching the capacity today for that, which is all good. After a while, we will be acquiring more office space because it looks like this is picking up a little bit. We'll see. And our mentors will start to work with children soon too. What are you about to tell me, baby? Whatever you want to do, you know you can do it. All right. Okay, wonderful. Well, welcome to Kinlan's Kingdom Couples Workshops. As usual, we are very excited to be here. And today, like every other day, when we come together on Sundays at 6 p.m., approximately, it is about 15 minutes to eat, that kind of thing, and then we get started. That's what we're trying to do. We do have a few new couples here, as we usually do. Have 1 or 2 new couples here, and we likely have a few new people online. We want to welcome all of our online viewers. We are blessed to be an international, national service to the community. Dr. Linda and I have been doing this since 2017 and couldn't get enough of it. You know, we had couples that we were seeing once a week, sometimes a little bit more, and it's just apparent that once a week when you're in crisis, once a week when you really don't have any relationship skills, once a week when you can barely communicate with one another, you're on the brink. You're on the brink. Anybody know anything about being on the brink in your relationship? I'm about ready to walk out. You say one more thing. You got one more time. You don't know how close you are to being a bachelorette. Before we make that drastic move, thank God that the Spirit of the Lord, a neighbor, a friend said, look, y'all, let's go to counselor. Try that and see if it will work. Grants, come on in. Eric, come on in. Grants, we got a table just for yourself over there, the Grant table. But please make your way to get some of this delicious, nutritious spaghetti. Please make your way, and we'll take it from there. Good to see you, brother. Got a lot of new folks. So let me just speedily introduce people without the rigmarole. I'm Kevin Smith and blah, 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 blah. I'll introduce you. Is that all right? Okay. Let me see if I can remember. Okay, we have, since y'all just walked through the door, we got the Grant family. Okay, the Grant family is here, Joseph and Reagan. Joseph wouldn't mind me telling you he's an Army veteran. Okay, wonderful. Reagan is a student studying the word, and I believe a stay-at-home mom. Is that right? Wonderful. Praise the Lord. We have with us the Simmons. Okay, Eric and Demetria. Wonderful, Jesus. I believe Eric is the IT guy. Okay, Navy guy. Wonderful. Dimitri is an administrator at one of our wonderful high schools here. Okay, wonderful couple. We have Cole and Maddie. Wonderful. Cole is a heavy duty worker on big trucks. Okay, big trucks. And Maddie is a what would we call a canvasser. I believe that was the name you gave. She sells magazines to folk, things of that nature. Wonderful sales lady. We've got Marcus and Donuts. That's her loving name there, Donuts. Okay. Donita, Duggars, the Duggars, with their wonderful purple t-shirts on. Okay. Duggar, this is good exercise for me. Brother Duggar is an Army vet. He's an IT guy as well. How many IT guys we got in here? Two IT guys. How many educators we got in here? Okay. Who else? Wonderful. I'll get to that. She's got a unique position. And also, Miss Donut has a unique position working with the counselors at one of our wonderful schools here in San Antonio. So she's in the schools all day, all day. We have our wonderful intern that is with us, up and coming, one of the most brilliant minds at UTSA, okay? Brother Aurelio Huss, okay? Wonderful, wonderful. He's a graduating senior from UTSA, about to start a fellowship, studying how to assimilate, folk assimilating as immigrants, immigrant assimilations, and how they adapt to the community and whatnot. One, just walking in the building, okay? One of our wonderful, wonderful homeschool professionals slash stay-at-home mom slash gardener, okay, slash. Sister Loving is with us today, and I'm sure her husband is coming soon through the door. Is that right? Okay, he's still at work? Okay, he's our chef, and he said he was going to be bringing himself through the door in about 30 minutes, so he's almost on time. Thank you for coming. Now, one of our newest couples, okay, wonderful. We've got Miss Ann and, hold on. Give it to me, sir. Ann and Nathan, I can't pronounce your last name yet. That's for R.
No.
Okay, Pacheco. What is that? Italian, wonderful, wonderful. We got another Italian in here. I won't give it away yet. Okay, but she is a spectacular, for years now, veteran. She takes care of infants. She's an infant specialist. You won't see them every day. Okay, he's been doing it for years. And my brother, he works in ICU. But what is your title again, sir? RN. He's a registered nurse in ICU. God bless you. I bow down. Okay. And lastly but not leastly, and we got another couple of two coming through the door, I'm sure. We have Brother Marshall and his wife, Manuela. Eddie. The Eddies are with us today. And I think I'd like to introduce Marshall as a U.S. Army vet. In his Army, yes, sir. But he is a brilliant basketball mentor, coach, developer of young people when it comes to their basketball skills. I think that's probably what he might want to be known for the most. And his lovely wife, Manuela, who is an administrator with one of our government contractors, I think, with one of our government agencies. Great family. Manuela, pronounce your last name, please, ma'am. Your maiden last name. Vitale. Wonderful. I'll be murdering people's names. But obviously we have two Italians in the. I did the spaghetti. No. What? Yes, sir. This was from Ollie's. I don't want to say who made it because we don't know. You know, get me in trouble.
No, I want to know who made it.
Oh, you love it? This is Ollie's Pizzeria. They have 2 or 3 locations here in town, and they have hosted our mentorship group. We had a young lady who's, she was 18. She already had a pilot's license. A young African-American young lady, and she was on fire. And a young aspiring firefighter, and we had a mentorship presentation with them. But y'all let me know the Italian rating of the spaghetti and pizza after we get finished today, okay? All right. I made it through that. Okay, here we go. Dr. Linda, as we get started, by all means, we've been covering a lot, and I'm not going to go back because this is day 3, family. This is day 3. Make sure you have something to write with. Make sure you got your pen. Everybody has something. Share your we need pens for the grant table over there. Thank you, Dr. Linda. Thank you so much. And Dr. Linda, if you don't mind, we need the sign in taken care of too, sweetheart, right behind Aurelio. Thank you. And while just before we get started with the information, please donate. Put a lot of effort into this, but you know, anytime you do something like this, we need some money. So please go to our website. There's a big box in it that says kingdom couples. So any amount will do. Bless us so we can continue to do the work of ministry. We generally serve about 12 families a month, in person about 40 or so families, online, everywhere out there, wherever they're from. I want to make sure, because I've been getting some complaints, that we're not reading enough of the questions from the people who are online. So help us out with that. I don't know what's going on, but let's just make sure we get everybody's questions so we can get going here. And we'll hear from Dr. Linda in a second. Let's get going. Let's get going. Now, let's get the slides rolling here. I want somebody to be so bold to speak about this topic. Because it seems like I spend most of my time in counseling dealing with this. If you were here for any of the sessions, don't be bashful, don't be shy. What does this say? And for those who can't read it because you've got your bifocals, there's a difference between a woman and a wife. A woman and a mother. There's a difference between being a man and being a husband and a father. Who wants to speak? I know you got some wise sayings, somebody in here, some wisdom. Who wants to elaborate what we've talked about and or how this may have hit you over the weeks that we have been presenting? Anybody? Wonderful.
Woman versus wife.
Mm-hmm.
A woman is someone who is single and independent, and most of the time we're looking to become a wife. Where a wife is someone who is ready to be submissive and tending to her husband or husband tending to her. And we spoke about things about as a wife, there's things that we no longer should be doing because we have a husband to do it. One of the biggest topics was anywhere from helping your dad, your husband to cater to you. Other things I'm trying to think of.
Well, that's plenty, but you said a word that might be causing viewership and others in this room to catch on fire, Sister Loving. You said it with such ease, just floating, just floating. That S word is, what's the S word? So say it if I want to say it. I might get banned. Submission. What does that mean? Because I don't want folk right there saying, oh my God, Dr. Brown is from 1950s. Which might not be a bad idea with some things. Old school is not necessarily bad school. Can I get a witness? Okay. Who wants to explain where you are with that term? Submission. And I would love to hear from the ladies. Who wants to elaborate on that, please? Anybody? Mm.
Everyone submits to somebody.
Mm.
So it's not so much a woman submitting to a man because that's not her husband. It's not man. It's not women should submit to a man. It's more wives being submissive to your husbands as they are submissive to God. And so it's kind of freeing, I guess, for the woman to kind of feel like that because as long as you're in line, as long as he's not telling you to do anything bad or wrong or anything like that, nobody can be anybody like God can. So it's more so a burden. It's more so a burden off of women sometimes when you look at it, because it's just. Jesus was submissive to God, so it's just the whole thing of being submissive. It's not a doormat or anything like that, or you don't have feelings or opinions or values because you do, and there's still a give and take with that as well, a respect that it's easier for a man if you want your wife to be submissive then don't be like overbearing, overpowering, and then it'll be easier for her to submit.
I'm loving that. Thank you. Thank you, Donut. Not permission. Thank you so much. maybe. And I see Sister Reagan has her hand up, and I certainly want to hear from anybody online. There's another perspective on it. We have people from all over the country. Some folk might say, well, Dr. Brown, you in the South. Of course, all the ladies in the South. No. But I want to hear anybody else's opposite opinion right after Sister Reagan, especially if you had a bad experience with this whole submissive thing. It's okay, free yourself. That's what this is for. But Sister Reagan had something she wanted to add. Good.
Ephesians chapter 5, starting at verse 21. We always skip to 22. But if you start at 21, 21 says, submit to one another out of reverence for Christ. Then 22 says, wives, submit yourselves to your own husbands as you do to the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church, his body, of which he is the Savior. Now, as the church submits to Christ, so also wives should submit to their husbands in everything. So the thing that has me free now, because I wasn't free before, I am from the South, I was raised in a traditional home. My dad had his thumb on my mother. And as a result, I decided at a very young age, when I get grown, that's not going to happen in my house. Whoever it is that will rock with Reagan has to understand that I'm not to be under anyone's thumb. And that's terrible. That's probably why I didn't get a husband for a long time. But the thing that frees me, the reason I'm free now, is because we step 21, we go to 22, it's a partnership, it's co-laboring. And if there is an understanding between you and your co-laborer, nobody feels that they're under anyone's thumb, and no one feels compelled to put their thumb on anyone. So that's just my 2 cents. It helps me to know to regard this as a partnership, to regard this as us being co-laborers. That doesn't mean that he can be the head without his foot being on my neck or his thumb being on me. He can be the head, but we're partners. As long as we understand that, then I'm okay. And I really have to die to flesh. It's really hard for me because of things because of childhood trauma, stuff from the 1980s. It's really hard for me sometimes when I hear a certain tone, not to react and respond in a way that's, untoward, crazy.
Okay. Let's you guys, the Grants, and let's give it up for them. Have been married for how long? 20 years. Let's give it up. 20 years. Glory to God. I hear the Hammond organ in the background. Somebody ready? Oh! Joseph, this is what we want to know. While your wife was transitioning from womanhood to wifehood, she said she struggled with it. That means she was struggling with you, brother. Amen. She was struggling with you. How did you handle those times of struggle, bro? You mind if we ask you? Help us out.
So it's kind of to be long-winded because there's a road. Very, very quickly. There's some times, and I'm sure all of us know, that the only thing keeping you together is that paper that says you married.
Okay.
You understand? And so I had, sometimes I was like, you know what? That's it. I'm done. I'm not going to divorce because that ain't my vocabulary. But if something happens, and shit, I am not. This is what the Lord told me. He said, yeah, you leave them when I leave you.
Mama.
And I said, now, that ain't even fair. This is my conversation with the Lord. This is not fair. 'Cause you're you know. And he says, well, aren't you my bride? And I was like, come on now. I'm having this conversation. He's like, well, if I don't get to leave you, and you're supposed to be my representative of the family, then how do you get to get away with your responsibility? How do you get to not love? How do you get to leave and forsake when I said I'm not, and you're supposed to be loved? I'm like, so I had to submit in that sense, but I also realized that I needed grace to do that, and I also needed grace from her because as frustrating as I'm with her, I know that there's some things that is not, you know what I mean? We all fall short. And so the whole bottom line is gross amounts of grace, gross and obscene amounts of dying yourself every single day, oftentimes many times a day, because everybody can't be crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, because there was a time when everybody was crazy and it didn't go well. And so, by the grace of God, we're able to, when I'm off, God is keeping her. She's off, God is keeping me. And somewhere in between, we ended up 20 years into the game, still talking somehow about, I love you, and I think I'll keep you.
Thank you, Deacon Joseph. I appreciate that. Let me do this. I rarely use the word crazy. I don't like to use it, but I know what you mean, Joseph. We all do. Let me say this about that, though, however, and thank you both, friends. 20 years, you need to be up here teaching this class. I'm going to hold you to that, too. Many of us, admittedly or not, may have a mental illness. Did y'all hear what I said? I'm going to say it again for the folks sitting in the back. Many of us, whether we admit it or not, have a mental illness, trauma from the past. You may not have thought you had trauma, but after you saw your dad drunk enough times, yelling at your mama, beating your mama, you hiding, you crying yourself to sleep. You are second and third generation depressed because it was handed down to you. Military experiences, police officer experiences. My wife would tell you, being in the classroom experiences can leave you scarred. Many times, I want y'all to hear this today. Many times we go to our doctors and they give us our diagnosis if we press them to give it to us. Some of our people just give some pills out. I mean, get quick to give out some pills. There's usually not enough explanation about what your mental illness is. Brother Corey is in the house. We miss our chef brother. Come on in. Just wanted to let you know you missed. Okay? All right now. Good to see you guys. Okay? Brother Corey is a chef. Well, he's a manager over at Olive Garden. God bless you, brother. Now, we get the diagnosis of depression, anxiety. We might say, you know what, I knew it. But a lot of times, not often enough, we don't get the explanation of what these symptoms are and what it will mean to the people in our house. The doctors usually don't have a lot of time to give you all of those explanations because they've seen about 15, 20, 25 people a day. They got to get you in and out. One of the beautiful things that we like to do at Kinlan is to explain it. Because of this, and this is possibly how your mate is feeling, your children are feeling. What if your mate has a diagnosis of a mental illness? Both of y'all are walking around, not crazy, Joseph, okay? But we're walking around a little touched. How do we mend dual mental illness in the same house? And buddy mental illness running around named Junior. Some of y'all a little touched. If you don't know how you touch, how you gonna help? We have to learn it. We cannot ignore it. If you are depressed, we got to pay attention to that thing. If you have real anxiety, I tell people all the time, you are walking around during the day snoring with that anxiety. You're walking around snoring. Why do you say that, Dr. Brown? I say it because the person who has a snoring problem, okay, they don't know how bad they sound. We are raising the roof, taking down walls. We are shuttering. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to live with, sleep with somebody that snores. But we wake up, we're ready to go. But everybody else has been tossing and turning. I said, everybody else, are you with me today?
Amen.
Has been tossing. I'm asleep at the bottom of the bed. I done hunched, I done kicked, I had karate chopped, I done hit the people's elbow, and this rascal is still snoring. Even when I go to sleep on the couch, I can still hear him. The person with anxiety, that's what it's like living with you. You complaining, you're irritable, you sucking your teeth. Oh, you're hard. You're hard to live with. Please get some pills. Do some yoga. Do something. Glory to God. To help. But first, we got to admit we got it. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? Hey, my brother, how you doing? Come on in. Grab a seat. Grab a seat. Eat. Get something to eat, please. Get something to eat. Get something to eat. This is Brother London. Runs our camera. Okay. Glad to have him. This is day 3. Any comments about that? Any comments about that? Okay, I can go on. We got to mend those mental illnesses. Y'all follow what I'm saying about that? We got to mend them. Now, Brother London, we got plenty of food, brother. Please don't make me take that home. This spaghetti is safe, brother. It's safe. Okay. Look, it's day 3. I got to move on. Now, I know some of you guys, this is the first day. Look, we done went through a lot. We done went through a lot now. I will go back to it at some point, but this is day 3. Usually by now, we will have the men on one side of the room and the women on the other side, and we start talking. We start talking. Dr. Linda and I are going next week to our place where we got married on the beach in Corpus Christi. So we will not be here, okay? And I pray that is the last time we will shut down doing this, because I'm already looking for some of y'all to start teaching some of these classes. I said, I'm already looking at some of y'all to do some things, and we'll talk about that soon. But today we want to talk about co-parenting. And I know when we think about this term may seem to mostly relate to people who are not together. But the truth of the matter is we're co-parenting, even when we are together in a traditional home. Okay? Co-parenting. Today we have a lot of blended families. Anybody here blended? Blended. Who can define blended? We just got 2 blended? Just 2. Who can define blended families? Who wants to define that? Appreciate it, Brother London.
I ended up getting married, and my ex-wife had 2 girls, and then I had my 3 kids. And what we did is we tried our best to mesh them together. So that's what a blended family is, where there are step kids, if we decide to use that word, bonus kids or whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much what I understand of that.
Wonderful. When you
pretty much.
Absolutely. And they were ahead of their time, the Brady Bunch. But even when you are, and I'm looking at the ages of some of you guys, your faces, you seem to be on that age range where sometimes you have to care for your senior parents. That's blending too. And prayerfully, you have a cooperative in-law. Prayerfully, they make it easy. They make it easy for this to happen. Glory to God. Co-parenting. Who can tell me, for those of you who may be, this term I learned this week, I was this week old when I learned this term, living apart together, the LAC community, which is old term, some of y'all raised in the church, folk that's shacking up. Living apart together when you are not married, but you're living together, and you're trying to blend the family. What age do you think is the most difficult for those who are in the LAC community? What age do you think is most difficult to try to bring together two families? Who wants to give it? Some of my educators might be able to help me with this. What's that? Teenagers? Listen, do what you want to do, family. Glory to God. But if your children are on the precipice of high school, middle school, Dr. Linda said middle school, it's very difficult, 8th grade, 9th grade, to try to blend families together when your children are that age. You asking for a lot, especially if you just, let's go to Vegas. Let's just go to Vegas. We're not going to blend the kids. We're not going to holler. Well, they've been to the park a couple of times. Hey, they're about the same age. They can be partners. They can play together. Oh, the devil is a lie. Oh, the devil is a lie. The kids have to be prepared too. I don't want to tell you how many times I have had to counsel people who it has become readily apparent that the kids were not even considered when the people started dating. They wanted somebody for themselves. But you're a package deal. Co-parenting. This is, if you want to co-parent and blend, in particular blending, this image here is what we gotta have. This image right here. I don't know if you want to use the term like Brother London said, Steph and I, but this image says we are on team number 37, little Becky, whatever her name is. It's not about us. We have traded in our wardrobe for Becky. And this is how this has got to work. And this is how this has got to work in a traditional family as well. Any comments about blending? Any comments about co-parenting? I've talked about the step scenario, but certainly there's other things such as being on the same page with your mate when it comes to child rearing. You got one parent that wants to get the switch. Junior, go out back, go to a young tree. Go to a young tree and get a switch. And you pick out your own weapon and you bring that back to the house. And I'm going to do this, and you better not call CPS. You better not call CPS because I'll whip you after you hang the phone up. And you got the other parent that's like, that is so archaic. My God, you're treating your beast. How dare you whip my child? Co-parenting means neither one of y'all are right. And so both of us are right. Any comments about that family? Woo, here we go. Sister Loving was first. And then you, Brother Joseph. Okay. Okay. I hear you. Joseph, please.
I was also considering too that two people with children. Then you also have the outside parent if they're involved.
Yeah.
I think it's you know, I mean, it's now more frequent that the outside parents probably not involved as much, particularly as fathers. But if they are, then you have to walk that fine line. If I'm the parent, if I'm the father, and I have a child in my house that belongs to my wife, and the I think maybe the better course is to say talk to him, but how is he gonna discipline a child in my house? So you gotta walk that line because you got, but you have to account for that. You gotta account for that.
Joseph, you are describing the man who is taking on the role of raising another man's child, right? That's what you're describing. Or either.
Yeah.
This is what I've seen, and I see a couple of hands from the brother, and I definitely want to call on you right now. It is hard to ask a person who's supposed to be a leader in the house to not lead. It creates an automatic wobble that you can't replace it. You cannot silence a co-leader in the house. Okay? You got to let the leader lead, especially if it's a man. Not chauvinistic, I'm just saying.
Can I say something now from honesty?
Sure.
I have an authoritative posture when it comes to parents.
Mhm.
Type of parents, right? Short man complex, don't try to do that whole thing. Right?
Mhm.
But I also learned that as a leader, and this is not a fucking thing, I'm only talking to the mistakes that I learned. Even as a leader, I gotta know when it's my time to still fall.
Mhm.
I can't just always say because I'm the husband, because I'm this, because I'm
Yeah.
that. Right? Because your methods may be wrong.
Yeah.
Your approach might be wrong. Your voice might be wrong. Or it might just, you might not have enough information
Sure.
to lead in that situation. You gotta know when you need to be on your own.
You got to earn it as well. Brother Duggar, and then Brother Eric.
I think that when you're co-parenting and when you are co-parenting, you coming into a situation where there's a bonus mom, a bonus dad. At that point, egos have to be put off to the side.
Oh, most definitely.
Because there could be trauma from the mother or the child or the father and the child. And so when you have those are things that you need to find out about. Those are the things that you need to have conversations about. Because maybe this child was abused a little bit too much, or the mother feels a certain type of way, or the father feels a certain type of way. So those are conversations that need to be had from the beginning so that there can be a plan in place on how they will be able to co-parent that child so that one doesn't feel slighted. And so that, there could be a healthy relationship between the parents as well as the children, because that's the goal. The goal is to have a harmonious home. So if you have to speak with the father because there are some fathers who are like, don't touch my child.
Right.
There are some mothers that are like, don't touch my child.
Right.
So those two that are now outside may need to be included so that they understand what would be happening in this home and make sure that everything is on the same sheet.
Absolutely. One of the reasons we have this big old room, although we're counseling practice, well, it's big for counseling, I should say, is because we blend families. So we'll have this family in here, in this room, and we'll talk about these things because they've already tried and stuff didn't work. Brother Eric, what did you want to add, sir? Okay.
You're co-parenting, but you're dealing with conflict. Those live together is too conflict between the work that you basically answer that question.
Yeah. You got to stop being a man and you got to stop being a woman because you left that job when you got somebody pregnant and when you got married. That's no longer your assignment. And I know that sounds kind of weird. And I'm just relaxing here. I'm gonna leave it all down. It's relaxing, man. Okay, I'm like, I'm home. Wait, just say something, baby. Okay. When you decide to get somebody pregnant, you all proud, you passing out cigars. That means you have ceased thinking just that it's just about you. I got a co-parent with this person. I went halvesies. I went halvesies. We went halvesies on that child. Yes. Thank you, Marsha. Come on. Mhm.
We had to come to an agreement about the relationship between me and my ex.
Yes.
I overstepped that bound and she yanked me back a couple of times when it came to like just conversation, because I treated her like a friend at that point. She didn't agree with that, and then money, everything, and then when it came to her lack of parenting, my ex-wife and my wife mentioning it, what I'm saying, not to mention it in front of my son, not to denigrate her, and in my son's eyes was huge. That never happened. I mean, we had a whole lot of conversations about what my ex-wife wasn't doing, but my son never heard that.
Okay.
He's now 25.
You protected him. You
Yeah.
protected the biological.
Right.
Go ahead.
And then her dad, I saw a couple of texts, so he's a step granddad. And he would send messages, make sure you're not treating, one different than the other, that they don't feel the difference in love. And that was huge. If I felt anything, she gave him more. The first child, the first one in the chute, gives more discipline.
Wait a minute. I want to make sure everybody heard that. You're saying Manuela's father, your father-in-law, said to his daughter, baby, love your husband's child the same way as if that child came out of both of you. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Manuela. Manuela. That's Marshall. It's okay. It's okay.
speak Spanish, I don't know it.
Okay. It's all right.
I'm sorry.
Well, that's concern. You want to know what's going on in the room. You want to know what's going on in the room. It's okay. It's all right, brother. Manuela, before your dad gave you that careful advice, were you somewhat between and betwixt? Or did dad's word cause you to say, you know what? Okay, I can do this because I know this is the right thing to do. How did that hit you, ma'am?
Well, I mean, it wasn't as easy as that.
Mm-hmm.
Because him not being my biological child,
Mm-hmm.
and also him having a mother.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I would say things to him, or like the way, I feel like sometimes I have to fight it twice. Like, I'm not trying to hurt his feelings. I'm not trying him to tell me, you're not my mom, you're not supposed to do that, you're not supposed to do that. And I would always go to him. So I tried to treat me as my child, but at the same time, I had to be careful because I also had a mom.
In 15 years, my son never said those words. You're not my mom.
Got you.
Because I put my hands on his throat one time.
I understand. You got a brother here. I ain't gonna call no name. Here. But nevertheless, I'm not gonna get personal. But go ahead, Manuela. Go ahead. Got you. And what I was getting at was the influence of the in-laws. And some of us in here may be old enough to be in-laws, or you are on the brink of it. Okay. Your kids might be planning to elope now without your permission. But your role matters. You got to stay out of phone business and give them good advice. Let's say this before we move on. And this is a big, big, big secret. And we'll go to the next slide. Even when you don't talk, it hurts. What is Dr. Brown saying? First of all, when you break up, get a divorce, or never marry, or whatever the case is, you're no longer together with the biological parent. Can't stand each other now. Can't stand. Before, y'all was getting matching t-shirts. Y'all looking like the Duggars over there. Purple and whatnot. You're all in love. It's love, bro. I see love. But you're young in love. But then things go south, and now, y'all are fighting like crazy. And you somebody's made up in their mind, I'm not going to talk to this person no more. I'm just going to get my child, slide them through the crack of the door, and I don't have to talk to this person anymore. I want to let somebody know in here, loud and clear, that it still hurts. Children are built to innately feel the love of both parents. I think they are innately built to want to see their parents happy. Just because you two didn't make it as a couple, and y'all messed up somehow and didn't make it, whatever, and it might be the other person's fault, I don't know. And to the child, I don't care. All I see is a bunch of feuding, fighting, y'all are talking about each other, to me like I'm your friend. When y'all can't get along, it still damages that child. Can I get an amen here?
Amen.
Can I get an ouch maybe?
Ouch, man.
Sir?
You see that in times where I'm happy, it kind of goes over to him, which is why he's lashing out. And it could be a trigger for him seeing us unhappy because he don't know how to truly express his emotions. So he expresses it in anger, in raging.
Yeah.
And now we're trying to fix it, to give him help he needs so we can fix it. Well, I feel as though that's maybe a part of the trigger why he's so angry all the time.
Well, that's what I was about to ask you, Dr. Brown. And I know I'm on this parenting piece. Everybody here doesn't have children. Thank you for your indulgence. I'm about to turn the slide. But Dr. Brown, as an educator of years, I'm an educator of years too. But, sweetheart, can you tell when a child is in a broken home when they come through the classroom? And if so, could you elaborate on that?
You can tell when a child is coming from an unhealthy home, broken or otherwise, or a healthy blended home. This is the new norm. So you may have, new grandparents that go with the new parents. But if the child is happy, you know it. And when something's off, you know that too.
Yes.
Because, children who come to school always angry, act out, and they act a certain way. And it's sometimes it's withdrawn, or sometimes it's just anger. And either way, it causes their academics to break down. They fall behind, they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, they're not doing their homework, they're not doing well on their assessments, or they don't have friends, or they're alone, they're withdrawn, they lash out at their classmates, they're in fights, all kinds of things come from it. But it would be, it's not always a broken home. Sometimes it's just, and I have kids in my class who are blended, and they blend very nicely, and they do very well. The stepdad helps with the homework, and stepmom helps to research, and it's just all kinds. But you can tell what child comes from a healthy environment, and a blended family can be one or the other. Blended doesn't always have to be bad.
Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. I'm gonna start this one off with a question. What are your foundational rules in your house about having opposite sex friends? I'm gonna step in it. Can your mate have an I hope y'all heard that Dr. Brown, my wife, did already. She didn't let it out. She didn't let it out. Okay. Can your mates have an opposite sex friend? Yes or no? Don't give me the political answer. Let's hear how you really feel. Marshall, please.
So my wife, she started working for the government. She had all the NCOs, father figures almost, or uncle figures, who may have had bad intentions at one time, because I don't think it's possible to be, if you're a straight man, to be in a woman's presence and not think non-platonic at some point. But then chip sales, when you see her get married, and then you can see her, I mean, when she talks to her male friends, half of them, I don't know their numbers, I just know that they don't have bad intentions. So, I mean, I feel like I'm a good judge of character. We just mentioned 3 of them on the way here, and she was talking about their career paths and whatnot. And I just see all of them as like a potential uncle or something. So, but if it's somebody who's, still young in the tooth, you know what I'm saying? I got to be a little more involved.
Young Thundercat! Young Thundercat! Wow. Okay, I heard that. I heard a couple of things there. I wonder if the ladies, can anybody express what the brother said about platonic?
What the ladies
I do.
You already know.
I would Yeah. Now keep this in mind. What we're covering, family, is how to have healthy relationships. That's the topic today. Creating virtuous relationships, especially man from the standpoint of the Christian motto, a man head of the household, woman, as Reagan explained very eloquently earlier. We want a man and a woman to have a checklist of what it is, how to be a good wife or a husband. We want these things. We get married with these intentions, but rarely do people have any idea how to have relationship skills. One of the obstacles that we see a lot is these husbands and wives. Now these work husbands and wives. Platonic. Ladies, I want a lady here, anybody, ladies, to respond to the idea that a man could be platonic or not. This is the first thing Marshall said. Ladies?
Looking at the outside and thinking about as a man. Once you look it up from the outside, looking in, they tend to start off first with getting to know you and see who you are, and then testing the waters, or becoming more friendly, or doing certain things intentionally, but unintentionally.
Sister Loving, are you saying that the brother he reels you in? Is that what you're saying? I want to ask you a quick question. How do y'all agree with Marshall that a brother can't help himself from having Brother Marshall, I don't want to quote you because I think I might be getting ready to mess up. Your initial thought was men initially can't be platonic? Cannot. Okay, so there we go. How many of you brothers, tell the truth, shame the devil, agree with what Marshall is saying? I got Cole, Eric. I got the 2 brothers in the back. I can't tell, Joseph, are you hiding? Okay. No? How about you, my brother? Don't agree with him? What about you, Brother London? Don't agree. Why? I need a brother. How about you, my friend? Why don't you agree with this young man? Mm-hmm. Okay. Because you've seen it, you witnessed it, it's not affecting you. Others, I don't know. Eric, how about you? Because the other brother's been here longer than you. Eric.
I believe what he says, but I also believe what he says as well. It may take effect on some men, but not all men. Work is work. But it depends on where you at in your life. Should tell you, younger me, me now, work is work. That's it.
So when the gray hairs came, you started settling. You're not one of them Thundercats no more.
Military.
Wow. Okay. Wow. I love what you said. You had to do what, sir? My. When I was a child, I did what? My. Melissa?
When it's that, that's when it's a time, I think it becomes more than just, oh, it was just work, it was just, we just had to schedule with the nurses, you know, check blood pressure, it's when it's after work, and there's still maybe a conversation or something that has nothing to do with work, and so we talked about going on a meeting and stuff like that. I think that's when, like, now it's a time that, you know, if it's just work, if it's just you're at work with somebody, we all work with all genders.
What I was thinking of is that sliver of hope. Like, right. If somebody's totally out of it. Right. I'm in the friend zone. As close as I can. As soon as you break up with your boyfriend, I'm like,
right there. Wait, fellas, wait. I want to hear from Maddie. I do. Hold on. Set you up, Maddie. Cole and Matt, this is what y'all in here. I love y'all here. Y'all the youngest couple here. Probably been married a year. Been married a year. Listen, everybody. All this stuff, man. Okay. So I saw you, Marcus. I saw you, Joe. But I gotta hear from Sister Maggie. I gotta hear from her now. Do you believe in your experiences? And Maddie is what, 19 years old? 19, wonderful 19. Y'all remember when you was 19? 19 years old. Somebody said I got shoes on. But Maddie, do you believe in your 19 young years that a man can work with you and not have thoughts of trying to come on to you or be with you or whatever? What do you think, man? Absolutely. They can?
They cannot be single. They cannot be single. They gotta have some sort of like woman in their life to keep them balanced, especially in the women.
Got you.
Yeah.
Cole, do you trust that Cole is 20? Cole? Okay, she's so, I said Maggie, she's so one else. Cole, do you trust young Thundercats or gray hairs to be around your wife in any capacity? Okay, so. Wow. Yeah. Another woman. Does he give you a hard time about that? Constantly. Interesting.
Not gonna break from him.
Wow. Okay.
Me and my friend, while we're together, as soon as things split up.
The brother got these raiders African pilots. Douglas, Joe, and London. I know London's over there about to fall out his chair.
I got pizza down here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you're good. I'm glad you eat, brother. I want to take all that food off. Doug, what you want to say, sir?
School with, I still keep in contact with. I know people that I'm in the military with, I'm still in contact with. I check up on them, see how they're doing, and again, I think it really depends on you as a person. Like, what is your intention? What is your intention of why this relationship is? I have friends that's just like, they're like my sister. Mm-hmm. I can look at this woman and be like, that's my sister. Or that is a mentee or a mentor to me, and not have no type of feelings for that person. You know,
let me step in, Doug. How about this, sir? And I can ask you this because I get a sense of your spirit, man. I think I can ask you this. how much do you feel obligated to tell your wife that this woman is a friend? Do you have a friend, say at work, and y'all, you go to lunch or something? I mean, do you say, you know what, I'm going to lunch with Cindy or something?
I'm not gonna go so much.
Okay, talk to me.
So, matter of fact, there was a rack space. I was working over at rack space. There was a young woman that was, she was supposed to be not my supervisor, but she was basically walking me through the process of this and the other. And you can tell, like there was, the little, she was doing a little bit too much flirtation. Like, can we say, okay, so I'm supposed to be learning? Right. And so I told my wife, and of course, she was ready to get the box of gloves, the Vaseline, and everything else like that.
Like the Vaseline?
Oh yeah,
Did she take the earring off?
She was trying.
Go ahead, Doc.
Just like I have to be
Yes.
Just like we have to move to a point to where we're able to trust each other. She has to be able to trust me that I'm going to make the right decisions with the people that I'm working around, and I'm not trying to be the stupid 21, 22, 23-year-old kid that I was in this lifeline. So I have friends right now that birthdays coming up. I'm not going to celebrate birthdays with them.
Let me ask something, Marcus. Let me ask you something real quick. If the brother comes home and says, hey, this is what was going on at so-and-so. We've talked about the men growing up. Donut, can you hear what your husband is saying and not throw it back in his face? Or what did you do? Or do you respond one thing when he tells you what took place? He's being transparent. Can you receive that from your husband without reprisal? Because I know some folk in here maybe they're saying, well, I'd like to be able to tell my wife or my husband these things, but man, I'm gonna have to hear about it all night. So I'm sorry I even brought it up. How do you respond? Did you respond when he did come home and tell you these things?
I think it's when something is not said, and you find something, it's like, oh, well, this was just this and that. Like, if you come out and say what it was, then it's like, then you have something to talk about. At that point, it's not a way back and saying something like that.
I got you. Joseph, what did you want to say? And then London.
I think the initial question was, is it possible to have a platonic relationship?
Correct.
For a guy to have a platonic relationship?
Correct.
I absolutely think so. I mean, if a woman is, you know how many beautiful women there are that you just pass by, right? It's like a dime a dozen. I work with my guy, and it's like every 5 minutes somebody's like, ooh, look at that. Ooh, look. And I'm like, bro, I got eyes. You think I don't see what you see? You know what I'm saying? I promise you I can see it. I don't need an announcement. I see what you see. You know what I'm saying? I don't need an announcement. If Barbara just like, bro, you're not going to mature than that?
Wow.
And I say that not to be like, this, but it's just like, that was middle school and high school.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're in a relationship like with me, like every Monday and Wednesday, I have rehearsal with Karen. She does,
Yeah.
And so we do that. There's women in the cast, right? We went to the comedy show and I ran into one of the castmates. She knows radio. So I mean, for me, when I'm in proximity to some eye candy, right? My flesh is like, let's go get it. But my mind is like, hold on. Number one, I got my name to protect.
Yeah.
Number two, some of the best things to keep you in check is when you think about, well, what is at stake, right? And number one, for me, it's what kind of man do I want to example for my daughter?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of man do I want to example for my son? And primarily, when I come back home, if I can look my wife in the eyes and it's perfect, it's perfect in the sense that there is nothing to hide. You know,
Right.
whether I mention something or I don't mention something, it still doesn't matter.
Right.
You know, except for I just want to say, hey, you know, by the way, incidentally, it's X, Y, and Z.
Boy, I really want to ask you some more questions about that, but that's like slide number 17. It's on there. And I desperately want to ask Reagan something, but I'm going to wait. Let me get to London real quick. Thank you, sweetheart. What you want to say to that, sir?
I wanted to say to him that I was in a situation where I had hang out and spend time with my wife. Just to make her feel comfortable. But I thought the key to that was I was never attracted to my best friend at all. I think that is a huge portion of it. I think then when you can be platonic friends, if there's no physical attraction there. So don't get me wrong or anything. My best friend is a beautiful woman, but I'm not attracted to white women at all. So she's my best friend, but there's no attraction. So I do believe that part of what he's saying is true. No, he can't. But it's based off of your attraction to the person on the other end of that situation, right? Because if when we're not attracted, when we want something, we all have to do with our flesh. There's just some women out there that our flesh don't reach to. And there's women that I have to hold you back. And that's what I think the friendship relationship is based off of. Hey, if that other person on the other end secretly or you secretly find the other person attractive, you don't meet the obligation. The requirement for it.
I appreciate that for context.
I think
Marshall.
I think it absolutely. So the woman that you say you're not attracted to, I mean, anyone. Who you attracted to, no matter what. Absolutely. The world getting ready and you have to repopulate. Is there going to be an attraction? That possibility is the same as I'm married, she's married. What if we both not married? Then that dinner date will be a conversation. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying there's nobody who's the possibility of platonicness is just not there. Because as a man, your innate being, I mean, you here to reproduce. That's the reason we're here.
So
Man, Marshall,
it's the by definition without sexual attraction.
Good question.
That's a good question.
That's a very good question.
I don't like what,
No, I'm just saying, so.
I would have to look at the definition.
We can revisit. Dr. Linda, what did you want to say?
Are you okay with your wife having a platonic
Male friend.
friendship with?
So again, you have to be able to trust, right?
But are you guys good with that? What you're saying, you know, if it's you and it's an attractive woman, what if your wife works with attractive men?
No,
Are you
that's
okay with
my
that?
teenager driving on the road. I don't trust everybody. The long time. Yeah.
Brother Eric, we're gonna move on, Brother Eric.
Let me tell you, I listen, I'm not, it's cool. I explained to her, explained to me as well, and, you know, it's on a level to where y'all have an understanding of where it's at, you know, I'm cool with it. I'm not, like, you can't be around me, like, you know, we all humans, you know, we have to have some type of human interaction with the other gender. You know, we can't avoid not talking to women, we can't avoid not talking to men. It's gonna happen. Me, I just believe that if you're in the right mindset in general, like you said, what's at stake? You know, am I willing to put what's at stake over for a one night stand? Or am I gonna put this at stake because, you know, I want it just because I want it? You know, I think it's also part of mindset as well.
Man, I love that, brother.
So
Listen, I thank you, Eric, and everybody for this. Thank you, Marshall, for your rawness when it comes to that and your explanation. Love all of that philosophy. Bottom line is, if you're spending significant time with somebody and you are befriending somebody, you're at work at least 8 hours a day, and somebody is, if you are coming home talking about these people, please introduce them. I can't tell you how many times I have run across people who have had friends. Well, I didn't know I was supposed to introduce to everybody. Yes, you got to introduce significant people who have made significant contributions to your life, et cetera, et cetera. When it comes to exes, y'all got to talk about that too. I'm going to roll on. Please to be healthy, tell your business to your mate. We don't want secrets. And speaking of secrets, and we can squeeze this one in, I think, before we leave here today. Maybe one more. And if you're online, please do some shout outs. I know we got plenty of folk that are listening to us and you're doing 15 other things, but if you have a question, please, or a statement, we will gladly read that statement or share your thoughts. The seventh thing out of 17, okay? How to have a healthy relationship. Men, how to be healthy. A healthy man will trust her with his needs, even his secret thoughts. We don't commit adultery when we go and have the actual act of the sexual encounter, if you will. It's 2024, the sexting, if you will, or the emotional relationship. We had those things in our thoughts all along, needs, wants, and desires. If you really got a friend, if your wife is your friend, your husband is your friend, you can share some secret thoughts. You want to share them before it gets you into divorce court. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? You want to share them. Let your helpmate be your mate, your helpmate. Allow them to help you with the stuff that you might be wrestling with. And when your mate does share something with you, maybe I've been struggling here, I've been thinking about this, blah, 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 blah. Don't shoot your mate down. Do we have some chronic shooter downers in the room? Chronic to the point where your mate has continuously said, you know what, I'm going to try to be vulnerable. And I know many times women will really love that they'll share. I want my man to be in touch with his feelings and share how he feels. But when he does, do you get the Tommy gun out and shoot down what he's saying? If you're going to have deep conversations like you want in pillow talk all the time, we love pillow talk. It comes with risks. I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to say some things that might get me in trouble. But that's when you know how strong your relationship is. Okay? Even with secret thoughts. Any comments, family? I know somebody here's got, I'm thinking about some secret thoughts now. I wish I could tell my mate.
So
Go ahead, Marshall.
So I don't know where I read it, but you get home from work or whatever, and that might be the last time that you have a combative thought in your mind. And anything that's gonna interrupt dessert, you keeping that shit to yourself. I digress. I mean, I apologize. Yeah.
Go ahead, Marshall.
So that's talking about the right
Yes,
or
sir.
the secret thoughts. I mean, you got your secret. So if I love you, I lie to you.
Marshall.
Absolute truth. Like, the way you lie, so you have. I mean, if I don't lie, I mean, if I tell you, you know, what I mean, I'll think about this, think about that. I don't, you know, you have to put those things back.
My.
Absolutely. I mean,
Wow. Miss Ann, haven't heard from you yet today. Miss Ann. This is Miss Ann here. Our Italian sisters over here. Yes. What do you say to Marshall? Marshall, that brother's deep out there now. I thought he was deep out there with his rawness before. He really went out there. Glory to God. And I need you to keep it coming. Don't be backing off the throttle. Okay, don't be backing off the throttle now. Oh, you know that, brother. It ain't hot. This is where we are. This is where we are. This is where we are now. Absolutely. Okay. Now, Miss Ann, you heard the brother. The brother said, if I love you, I got to lie to you. What do you say to that man? Why?
Because eventually the truth is going to come out. And then they're going to be on
Mm. You want your husband, Miss Ann, to tell you even his secret thoughts? Would you go that far? I know you didn't say that, but I'm asking that. I got you. Well, that's what exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. I got Doug. What? Okay. Doug, I got Doug here. Go ahead. Go
That
ahead.
goes both ways, because there are some things that a woman could tell a man that she feels that needs to be said, and shouldn't be said, because it can tear that man down. And then likewise, the other way is around. So we have to be careful with what we're saying. And if it is something that needs to be said, then it needs to be thought out. It needs to be planned. It needs to be written out, because it will be devastating if a man was having an issue, and again, this is not my household, but if a man was having an issue with his wife sexually, and he tells his woman, you know, hey babe, I'm gonna be straight up honest with you. It's kind of garbage. But I'm just saying.
Wait, Mark. You heard him say it's not his household. Okay, good. I will make sure. Go ahead, sir. Yes, sir.
Person, that male or that woman is feeling the same thing. And the woman is feeling like her man is not doing X, Y, Z, and she's like, babe, it's trash. Woo. You know, that's a shot to everything.
It is.
And everything else like that. So we have to be careful with, there's some things that I probably just won't say, and I'll just find another avenue to propose this, so that we can be better.
Let me jump in, and I got you, Joe, next. Let me jump in, because that's why people come see us. 70% of the people get divorced because they do not want to have the hard conversation. That's why we're getting divorced, y'all. About what you just said, Brother Douglas. I'm not going to bring it up. Sex is how we got here. That's how it's a big and an important part in most relationships. If somebody, to use your words, is making love to their only mate that they will ever make love to in the rest of their life, okay? And if it's trash, that person needs to know it's trash. Yes, it needs to be carefully said. I could not agree more. It needs to be said like, I see you. I see you said. It needs gloves and everything. Honor God. Yes. But it has to be said. Not the word trash, though. And there has to be a nurturing for inadequacies, a nurturing for stamina needs. The person needs to know, I get this. What do I get? Person said, nobody of my previous lovers have ever complained. None of my previous lovers have ever complained. But you've never had this lover, your husband or your wife. You have to do it the way that he or she needs it done. And you got to communicate. No. Yes. Over there, right here. Educate one another. Who said that? What you gonna do with Marcia? What you gonna do with that man? Was it London? What are y'all doing? God dang. I got Joseph and then Eric. Joseph next.
Yes. When you said that, I immediately my mind went to about crucified.
Yes.
He was talking about some things. He said, you're gonna have much more to say to you now
Yeah.
but it's too much for you to bear, right? And so it wasn't that he was lying, but there's some information that you don't right now, you just ain't ready. And when it comes to like the relationship part, you have to be at a level of communication where number one, can I trust you?
Yeah.
With whether it's sexual, but what if it's not sexual? What if it's I really feel insecure about this, and I don't even know why, or I really have a dream to do this.
Pause for a second, Joe. I don't want to stop you. I gotta stop you. I want you guys to get a sheet of paper real quick. And make sure it's folded down a little bit so your mate can't see it right quick. I need you to get something. I want you to write something down. Real quick. Or put it on your phone, whatever it might work. Secret for right now. Joe, don't lose your thought, sir. And Eric, don't you lose your thought either. I want you to write down.
Somebody on send it to people.
Yes. Okay, so we're gonna have to work that out. Okay, so we're gonna have to speak up a little bit more. I don't know if it's a mic, I don't know who that. Yes. Okay. All right. Let me do this. And make sure, Dimitri, you write this down. I'm gonna hold you accountable. Okay. I got you. I want you to write down one thing on your phone.
Like any comment.
Maybe two. You're gonna get greedy three.
Okay.
A hard saying that you know you need to talk to your mate about. A hard saying, a hard topic, difficult topic that you know you need to bring up. It's hard. But if you don't bring it up, I want you to write it down now. Just don't keep it in your thoughts. It's been in your thoughts for a long time. I want you to write it down, type it down. What is a topic or two that you've been holding on to? You don't want to bring it up because it's going to cause an argument, it's going to cause something. But you have not, and I'm not going to ask you to tell us in here. Not going to do that. This is between you and God. I just felt prompted to ask you one, two, maybe three things that you wish to God you could bring up, and you and your mate could have a pillow talk conversation. You don't have to be defensive. He or she doesn't have to be defensive. It's like we talked about what we want to eat. You want that kind of conversation. Like, what you want for dinner tonight? What you want for dinner? No big deal. You want to have that kind of dialogue, but it's such a sharp issue. You got it written down? One more time. I can see some more folks writing. Okay. Not yet, baby. You're going to throw me off. I'm going to read it again. You should try to show it to me now. We're going to have a personal argument up here. Don't show it to me now, girl. Okay. I got you. But thank you, though. Everybody got something written down? I want you to sit on that topic like a mother hen. Pray about it, think about it, pray about it, meditate, whatever you do. Get some scriptures for it. I don't know what you do. Come up with the best time to bring it up. And come up in your mind. Because this is something like if you were at work and you were sitting on something like this, it would jeopardize the company. Y'all following me? If it was this big and you didn't address it with your management team or your employees, it would ruin stuff. It would ruin the esprit de corps. It would ruin the feeling of goodwill and commonwealth. So why at your house you don't bring up 911 stuff? When you know it's the reason why you walking around melancholy. I can say more, but I might have some children listening. But you can't function the way you normally function. You can't flow the way you want to flow because of this topic. You feel me? All right now. I want you to sit on that. Joe, I hope I didn't throw you off too much. And Eric.
I think I was almost, because, obviously, sometimes it's not.
Right.
Sometimes it's, can I dream big? Or can I share, what happened to me or what I feel nervous about or insecure about? All of those things that we carry on here. In my mind, right, I'm sure all of us have that.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to see our thoughts posted up like
Amen.
Because it's crazy up in here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, when it comes to things that are like really critical, maybe it's not all that a lot of you. There was an interview with I think it was Baldwin. What's his name? He's the
Alec
Baldwin and some other sister, and they said something. James Baldwin.
Continue.
And they were having that conversation, and it's like, if you, as my sister, are telling me, yeah, you lie at work, you put on a smile and all it is, and it's like, so there's no safe place I can be because you want me to lie to you. You don't want me to be my true self.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe there's some things that our spouse isn't ready to hear, but it don't mean that I have to. To me, the word lie means to intentionally distort what really is, as opposed to just simply withholding it. Especially if it's not this.
And you're addressing Marshall with that.
Right, yeah.
Gotcha.
I think it just might be a matter of
I got you.
semantics.
Eric, thank you, Joe. Eric. Got you.
But that's what I was just saying.
I appreciate that.
Everybody else is responsible for all the If I can't talk to you straight up, how can I express myself? So I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna change some stuff around to where you kind of slide it out there and see what the reaction is. But once I get it, it's like, okay, I can do what I can spit it out.
I certainly advocate telling it. Reagan.
Grandma said, tell someone and keep saying. I think to agree.
Say it again. Say it again. Grandma said.
And tell some. You don't ever tell. You don't show your whole hand. And then there's levels to it. It's like the emergency. If you got a 2x4 sticking out your rib cage,
Yeah.
you need immediate attention.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yes.
If you just rub your fingernail like I did on the way in here and it's stressing me out, it's wrong with all the other nice. One out of 10 is I don't want to. That's different.
Yeah.
If you agree, if it's a heart issue or agree, if it's a matter of life and death, it's a matter. If it's I broke my fingernail, it's a different matter. Levels and shades to it, and then time and place.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When I married my wife,
There's no book because it's free will.
when I married my wife, I did not want a regular relationship. I wanted an outstanding marriage. I didn't want a mediocre marriage. I wanted to share my life with somebody. Okay. And that requires me to be more vulnerable than I was ever before. So this is the goal. This is where I'm trying to be. I'm going to go to the next one and we're going to close. But Dougie, you wanted to say something before we do that?
With, I think as these are the goals in which we definitely want to shoot for and aspire for. I think a lot of things that has to be dealt with prior to us being able to get here is past traumas and upbringing. Because if you're in a household that you don't know how to communicate, you're only going to share so much with a person that you're able to share with. And then if you're in a household, or if you're like for myself, I always had to defend myself with my mom growing up. So everything now I have to defend myself. I have to over-explain. Sometimes it feels like when I over-explain and I'm trying to make sure that I'm understood,
right?
It's like it's too much. And then when it's said that, then it makes you want to fall back because it's too much. So I think once those issues have been addressed on how you're able to repair those, how to find a happy medium, that's where you're going to be able to find the best way to communicate with each other, where it's not too much. It's not too much on the person that's receiving, then it's not too much on the person that's giving, but it's just enough to where they're able to communicate effectively. So.
Appreciate that, brother. Let's do this last one. In fact, you segued into this last one, which is, this is 8 out of 17. A healthy man and a supportive wife, he's not going to allow his upbringing, the negatives of his upbringing, to crutch and anchor him in a whole husband, grown man, fatherly role. I can't tell you how many times people come to me and say, my wife wants me to be more expressive of my feelings. She wants me to hug her more and kiss her. But I was not what? Raised that way. While that man is a man, he needs to deal with that before he gets hooked up with a woman. And then tries to make her his wife and procreate. If you're still wrestling with the traumas from mom and dad, the Bible says, for this cause shall a man leave his father and mother and connect with, bond with, okay, cohesively in the Hebrew, adhesively connect with his wife. If you still are hanging on to your mom's or dad's emotional ankles, you are not ready to transition from man, woman into husband, wife, father, mother. That's the sad but honest truth. I'm still talking about 20 years ago. You're 45 years old, haven't lived at home since you went away to boot camp, and you're still quoting or feeling like I'm going to live according to how my parents raised me. I'm not saying those feelings and traumas and lifestyles that were permanently set in you for 18, 17, 18 years are not real. On the contrary, what I'm saying is we need to get taught up, coached up, mentored up, discipled up, loved up. And when we're getting together with these young men and women and where we're speaking life into them, we need to let them know, bruh, sis, that's how it used to be. You have to define your home now. I got the Eddies there closest to me right now in terms of proximity. Different cultures, okay? But the Eddies have to define their home. What do we want our house to look like? Not what my dad's house was, not what the neighbor's house looks like, but the Eddies of San Antonio, Bexar County. What do we want? How do we want Christmas or not? How do we want Halloween or not? Everybody else be damned. What do we want? Whether I was raised with it or not. What is a woman or a wife supposed to do with her husband talking about, I can't kiss you because I wasn't raised that way? Are you kidding me? You're doing stuff at 45 that was done for you when you was 15? Think about it. Free yourself up enough to think about it. It doesn't make sense emotionally. I don't want my wife bringing me Captain Crunch for breakfast. But at 15, boy, I eat a whole fruit bowl of Captain Crunch. What? And wouldn't care who had any of it. Could you leave it for your brother? I don't care. He knows that I like Captain Crunch the most. He likes corn chips. Corn, what is it? Cornflakes. I like it. I don't care whether I'm going to eat these. I'm going to have 3 bowls. Kind of earlier. But I don't want my wife mixing me no doggone Captain Crunch. My whole thing has changed. I'm a grown husband and father now. I don't want her treating me like she's in high school. we're gonna have a problem. If Dr. Linda started acting like she's a high school Linda, I will not be attracted to that. Silly rabbit tricks off the kids. I want her to be a grown woman. And I want to be allowed to be a grown man in my house. And if I start acting like a boy, Dr. Linda, you have every right to say, that's not my husband. I don't know what you're doing right now, Kenny. But this is silliness. This is silliness right here. I married a grown man that's a husband and a father. I need you to act like it. And if it's good or perfect, that advice she gives me, guess who it came from? The Lord. Any comments about this as we close?
I think, so with that, that's where I believe, again, I made plenty of mistakes. But I believe that that's why you gotta put a lot of focus on premarital counseling.
Oh, yeah.
Then you go on a wedding. Right? I've experienced premarital counseling is like quick, right? Because you're trying to just get to the husband and wife thing, but these are the same thing I've been doing for the last 5 years. I ain't been hugging and kissing you. But now all of a sudden you got this ring going, and now you're bringing all these things that you want me to change. But it was good enough then.
Yeah.
So if you don't address it and you don't, what I'm saying is you gotta talk about these things because it's unfair that when the ring goes on, then you start changing your mindset. You try to be somebody else because you have the title. Like we've been riding this shit. Right. Now you got married, you want a Bentley? We ain't never talked about that.
Right. Point taken. Let me ask this. I'm gonna get greedy. Get your pad out again. Dr. Linda, get your phone out. You're gonna write something about me. Okay. What? Her and I? Yeah. Believe me, she got notes now. You want to know something we talk about? You know what? I know you want to know. Remember, Dr. Linda, we're going on vacation. I'm gonna be out on the beach. Okay. So we have to tell y'all something about us. Okay. Now, this is what I want you to write down. This is for one side is for you, one side is for your mate. How are you still acting like you are a member of your mom and them house? What are you doing that is still because your mom and them did it and it doesn't fit in your relationship now? What are you doing? If you don't know what you're doing, just think about something your mate has told you you're doing. That you're still doing something that you were doing when you were a kid in your mom and them house that you're doing now. Okay? Write something down if it's applicable. And then I want you to write down what is your mate said you're doing that's still adolescent-like. What are you doing that's adolescent-like that your mate has said that you're doing? Now label it. One is your own self-assessment. The other one is what you've heard your mate say that you still act like a kid. Sure. Lord have mercy. I'm gonna try to give you since Sister Loving asked me about what we talk about. Let me see what Linda has said to me about what I've done as act like a kid. Because she said it more than one time. I'm trying to think of a good one. I'm trying to think of something that's not trivial, like I didn't make the bed or the seat being up or down.
The planning,
sir.
The planning.
I'm the planner. I'm one of the planners in the house. But baby, help me, because I don't want to give them something that's not juicy. I want something that's good.
Something that you do, something that you have always done.
Something I brought from Henrietta Brown.
Yeah.
My mom.
The fact that you like to just drop clothes, shoes, whatever, all over the house. And then you expect me to come by you like a little queen and just do it all.
Y'all see how I'm eating that? Y'all know I want to say something to it, but she's right enough that I can't. She's right enough. You don't say when she's right enough? Yeah, I can't call that it. I could, but let me say something. I could come back, but it's not, and I'm not gonna come back, because this is what people fight about. No. This is what people fight about. The essence of what she's saying is, I'm not cleaning up enough. If I try to, hold on, sweetheart, because I'm with you. If I try to say, well, I cleaned up Monday and Tuesday, you ain't giving me credit for it. That's not good enough when she's addressing, because it's good and it's perfect, or good or perfect. She's right. I don't need to deal with the semantics. Well, I cleaned up. You ain't give me no credit for cleaning up when I did clean up. That's not what she's saying, and I know that's what she's saying. I don't want to waste good argument time on that, because for the most part, she's right.
I have 10, 12-hour days. The last thing I want to do is pick up.
Right.
Load behind the hamper, never mind in the hamper.
But that is, yeah, that's true. Now that's but that's an example. That's an example. Reagan.
Mm-hmm. It's an ongoing problem.
Right.
And so the frustration is at level 10.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be in that.
Right.
But you're a grown up.
Yeah.
And if the children in the house know that I'm not moved, then what I do, I have to talk to, it's very frustrating, and it's ongoing, and it's a cycle, and it's a pattern. And I know how long he's been doing it, though. Particularly, was he doing it before you got married? To help with your
That's the thing. That's the thing is, some of you guys have been together forever. Men mainly, we are creatures of habit. They just don't up and just start doing things.
Mama used to clean this up, but I'm the wife.
Because you're doing it as a girlfriend.
You know what?
See,
He went home one time, and I stayed in his place. I was by myself and cleaned up his whole apartment. Yes, and one of the things.
Oh my God. Thank you, baby. We close it down now. We gotta get out of here. Joe.
And this is when I was 1997, like second year I was in the weekends, the barracks was lit. I remember Private Mason, she came in from Mexico. I remember this lady. And we would sit up there, everybody's going on, and she said in her Mexican accent, she says, you see, we're sitting like right here. She said, this is why you need someone to take care of you, because the rooms are always a mess. And man, if I'm just saying, the trajectory of my life was almost going into entirely different, but God had a plan. What I'm saying is to hear what my Linda just said, and when my wife came to the apartment and she was, cleaning up, those kinds of things, they stick out. It's that nurturing kind of part. Yeah. And but all of that is to say that we all have to change. There's no, well, you can, or you can just see destruction and nuclear fallout.
Yeah.
So
listen, Marty Marshall.
There we go.
Go ahead, please.
Okay. So the reason I'm with we were friends. I was in the friend zone with her best friend in life, and she came to my house to cook out. I didn't even know her name, and they got there a couple hours before. This woman was cleaning and cooking and phone calls stuff, and I was like, hey. I instantly got out the friend zone. That other one was like, who put you over here? And here we are.
Yeah. Hey, listen, fam. I get you. I got you. Listen, I gave you guys a couple of things to really talk about. And I know that there's one because the edit went down and whatnot. Okay, yeah, it switched off. It switched off on us. So let's get on out of here. But let me say this, please donate to the cause. Allow us to keep doing this. If this is blessing you, and tonight we went a little long in the tooth, but my goodness, there's some rich conversation. Y'all have some powerful thoughts. You guys are the ones that people talk about. These comments is like, man, I heard this, I heard that. You guys make this work. Okay, thank you so much, whoever gave the 20. Allow us to keep doing this in Jesus' name. Now, next week we will not be gathering, but we do have a schedule. Brother Duggar, the Duggars are planning a bowling trip. Thank you, bro. I've been saying it all along. I've been messing up those days. I'm sorry. The Dugars. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. The Dugars.
We were like,
who is the Duggars? Okay. Sorry about that. And if I mispronounce anybody else's name, write it down like I'm in elementary school. Just put the syllables and stuff in there. Okay. We're not gathering next week, but we're going to be back for Father's Day. We'll be back for Father's Day doing something, okay? And then the following week, I believe we're doing bowling. And in August, we're going to be doing something. We like to get outside and play some kickball and things of that nature and whatnot, volleyball too. So we try to do that once a month as we are getting going here. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for your contributions. Let's stand on our feet all over the room and let's lift up both hands. You don't mind. And before you go, please, don't leave your stuff on the table, please. Throw it in the trash. That would help us out. And then as everything gets thrown out, help us out. Maybe just take it out, put it in the garbage. That would be so splendid. Glory to God. Let's lift up both hands. Let's lift up both hands. Father, we bless and we thank you for allowing us, dear God, to allowing us to hear our mates' voices, our friends' voices, our associates' voices, new friends' voices about this topic of love and relationships and how to stay together. Thank you, dear God, for the truths that came forth tonight. Allow, dear God, for those truths to be wisdom coming straight from you, that we be able to be our best selves for our mate, best selves for ourselves, best selves for our children and our loved ones. Thank you today for all things that you've given unto us. Father, we haven't told you thank you in a long time. Thank you for keeping us in the land of the living. Thank you for our car that we might want to upgrade. Thank you for our homes.